Bear with me, y'all. We've had some technical difficulties here. Bear with me. Oh, it wanted to act up on me tonight, so hang in there. We'll get it. Good evening, everyone. I was not going to give up on you guys. Not at all. This book is too good. I was going to work with this thing until I got it. Hello, Paula. Yeah, I was going to keep working. Let's get our prayer for tonight. Okay, our prayer for tonight is a sweet friendship refreshes the soul. A sweet friendship refreshes the soul. Proverbs 27:9. And little Miss Victoria is laying on the couch watching TV with the baby, and she is also going to listen to the story tonight. So let's get into it. I'll get comfortable. Welcome, everyone. We are on chapter 5. Can't wait to see what's going to happen tonight. By 6:45, dinner is almost ready. There was some chicken breast in the fridge that was already marinated, and somebody had printed instructions on the bag. So I just did what the instructions said and threw it in the oven. They must get their food from some sort of service with directions already on it. The kitchen smells fantastic when the garage door slams. A minute later, Andrew Winchester is strolling into the room, his thumb in the knot of his tie to loosen it. I'm stirring some sauce on the stovetop, and I do a bit of a double take when I see him, having forgotten quite how handsome he is. He grins at me. He's even more handsome when he smiles. Millie, right? That's right. He inhales deeply. Wow, that smells incredible. My cheeks flush. Thank you. He looked around the kitchen in approval. You've got everything clean. That's my job. He chuckles. I suppose it is. Did you have a good first day? I did. I'm not going to tell him about the peanut butter debacle. He doesn't need to know, although I suspect Nina will clue him in. I'm sure he won't appreciate me almost killing his daughter. You have a beautiful home. Well, I have Nina to thank for that. She runs the household. As if on cue, Nina arrives in the kitchen wearing another of her white outfits, a different one than only a few hours ago. Once again, she looks impeccable. But while I was cleaning earlier, I took a few minutes to look at the photographs on the mantel. There's one of Nina and Andrew together from many years ago, and she looks so different then. Her hair wasn't as blonde, and she had on less makeup and more casual clothing, and she was at least 50 pounds thinner. I almost didn't recognize her, but Andrew looked exactly the same. Nina, Andrew's eyes light up at the sight of his wife. You look beautiful, as usual. He pulls her to him and kisses her deeply on the lips. She melts against him, grabbing his shoulders possessively. When they separate, she gazes up at him. I missed you today. I missed you more. I missed you more. Oh my, how long are they going to debate who misses who more? I turn away, busying myself in the kitchen. It's awkward to be so close to this display of affection. So, Nina is the first to pull away. Are you two getting to know each other? Uh-huh, Andrew says. And whatever Millie is making smells incredible, doesn't it? I glance behind me. Nina is watching me at the stove with that dark expression in her blue eyes. She doesn't like her husband complimenting me. I don't know what the problem is, though. He's obviously nuts about her. It does, she agreed. Nina is hopeless in the kitchen, Andrew laughs, throwing an arm around her waist. We would starve to death if we were all on her shoulders. My mother used to drop by with meals that she or her personal chef made, but since she and my father retired to Florida, we have been subsiding mostly on takeout. So you're a savior, Millie. Nina gives a tight smile. He's just teasing her, but no woman wants to be compared unfavorably to another. He's an idiot if he doesn't know that. Then again, plenty of men are idiots. Dinner will be ready in about 10 minutes, I say. Why don't you go relax in the living room and I'll call you when it's ready. He raises his eyebrows. Do you want to join us for dinner, Millie? The sound of Nina inhaling sharply fills the kitchen. Before she can say anything, I shake my head vigorously. No, I'm just going to go up to my room and relax. Thank you for the invite, though. Really? Are you sure? Nina swats her husband in the arm. Andy, she's been working all day. She doesn't want to have dinner with her employers. She just wants to go upstairs and text message her friends. Right, Millie? Right, I say, even though I don't have any friends. At least, not on the outside. Andrew doesn't seem concerned either way. He was just being polite, obviously a fact that Nina didn't want me at the dinner table. And that's just fine. I don't want to do anything to make her feel threatened. I just want to keep my head down and do my job. And that takes us to chapter 6. I forgot how amazing it is to sleep with my legs straight. Okay, this cot is nothing special. It's lumpy and the springs on the bed frame groan every time I move, so much as a millimeter. But it is so much better than my car, and even more amazing if I need to use the bathroom during the night, it's right there next to me. I don't have to drive around to find a rest stop and clutch my can of mace in my hand while emptying my bladder. I don't even need mace anymore. It feels so good to sleep in a normal bed that within seconds of my head hitting the pillow, I pass out. When I open my eyes again, it is still dark. I sit up in a panic, trying to remember where I am. All I know is I'm not sure. In my car, it takes several seconds for the events of the last several days to come back to me. Nina offering me the job, moving out of my car, falling asleep in honest to goodness bed. Gradually, my breathing slows. I fumble on the dresser for my phone and that Nina bought me. The time is 3:46 in the morning. Not quite time to get up for the day. I shove the itchy covers off my legs and roll off the cot as my eyes adjust to the light from the moon filtering in through the tiny window. I'll hit the bathroom, then I'll try to fall back to sleep. My feet creak against the bare floorboards of my tiny bedroom. I yawn, taking a second to stretch until my fingertips almost reach the light bulb on the ceiling. This room makes me feel like a giant. I get to the door of my room and I grab the knob and it doesn't turn. The panic that drained from my body when I realized where I was now escalates once again. The door is locked. The Winchesters locked me in this room. Nina locked me in this room? But why? Is this all some kind of sick game? Were they looking for some ex-con to trap in here? Someone nobody would miss? My fingers brush against the scratch marks on the door, wondering who was the last poor woman trapped in here had been. I knew this had to be too good to be true. Even with the spectacular dirty dishes, this seemed like a dream job. I knew Nina had to have done a background check. She probably locked me in here thinking nobody would ever miss me. I flashed back to 10 years ago, the first night when the door to my cell slammed shut, and I knew this would be my home for a long time to come. I swore to myself that if I ever got out, I would never let myself be trapped into any situation ever again. Yet, it's less than a year after I get out, and here I am. But I've got my phone. I'll call 911. I snatch up my phone from the dresser where I had left it. I had a signal earlier today, but now there's nothing. No bars, no signal. I'm stuck here with only one tiny window that doesn't open, overlooking the backyard. What am I going to do? I reach for the doorknob one more time, wondering if I could somehow knock the door down. But this time, when I turn the knob sharply, it twists in my hand, and the door pops open. I stumble out to the hallway, breathing quickly. I stand there for a moment as my heart rate slows to normal. I was never locked in the room after all. Nina didn't have some crazy plot to trap me in there. The door was just stuck. But I can't seem to shake that uneasy feeling that I should get out of here while I still can. And that takes us to chapter 7. When I get downstairs in the morning, Nina is systematically destroying the kitchen. She has pulled out every pot and pan from the cabinet below. She's ripped half the dishes from above the sink, and several of them are lying broken on the kitchen floor. And now she's going through the refrigerator, haphazardly tossing food onto the floor. I watch in amazement as she takes an entire container of milk out of the refrigerator and hurls it onto the floor. Milk immediately started gushing out, forming a white river around the pots and pans and broken dishes. Nina, I say tentatively. Nina freezes, her hands curled around a bagel. She whips her head around to look at me. What is it? Where is what? My notes, she lets out an anguished cry. I left all my notes for the PTA meeting right here on the kitchen counter, and now they're gone. What did you do with them? First of all, why would she think her notes were in the refrigerator? Second, I'm certain I did not throw out any notes. I mean, I'm 99% certain. Is there some tiny chance there was a little crumpled up piece of paper on the counter that I assumed was garbage and threw away? Yes, I can't rule out that possibility, but I was pretty careful about not throwing away anything that wasn't garbage. To be fair, almost everything was garbage. I didn't do anything with them, I say. Nina plants her fists on her hips. So you're saying my notes just walked away? No, I'm not saying that. I take a careful step toward her, and my sneaker crunches on broken plates. I make a note to myself to never come into the kitchen barefoot. But maybe you left them somewhere else? I did not, she snaps at me. I left them right here. She slams her palm on the kitchen counter loud enough that I jump. Right on the counter, and now gone, vanished. All the commotion has gotten the attention of Andrew Winchester. He wanders into the kitchen wearing a dark suit that makes him look even more handsome than he looked yesterday, if that is even possible. He is clearly in the process of tying his tie, but his fingers freeze mid-knot when he sees the mess on the floor. Nina turns to look at her husband, her eyes brimming with tears. Millie threw out any notes for the meeting tonight. I open my mouth to protest, but it's pointless. Nina is certain I threw out her notes, and it's entirely possible I did. I mean, if they were so important, why would she just leave them lying on the kitchen counter? The way the kitchen looked yesterday, it could have been condemned. That's terrible. Andrew opened his arms, and she flies into them. But don't you have some of your notes saved on the computer? Nina sniffles into his expensive suit. She's probably getting snot all over it. But Andrew doesn't seem to mind. Some of them, but I'll have to redo a lot of it. And then she turns to look at me accusingly. I'm done trying to assert my innocence. If she is sure that I threw out her notes, the best thing to do is just apologize. I'm so sorry, Nina, I say, if there's anything I can do. Nina's eyes lowered into the disaster on the kitchen floor. You can clean up this disgusting mess you left in my kitchen while I fix this problem. With those words, she stomps out of the kitchen. Her footsteps disappear up the stairs as I contemplate how I'm going to clean up all these broken dishes, now intermingled with spilled milk and about 20 grapes rolling around the floor. I stepped on one of them, and it's all over the bottom of my sneaker. Andrew lingers behind in the kitchen, shaking his head. Now that Nina has left, I feel like I should say something. Listen, I say, I wasn't the one who... I know, he says before I can get out the protest of innocence. Nina is high-strung, but she's got a good heart. Yeah. He pulls off his dark jacket and starts rolling up the sleeves of his crisp white shirt. Let me help you get this cleaned up. You don't have to do that. It'll be faster if we work together. He goes into the closet by the kitchen and pulls out the mop. I'm shocked he knew exactly where it was. Actually, he knows his way around the closet of cleaning supplies very well, and now I get it. Nina has done things like this before. He's gotten used to cleaning up her messes. But still, I work here now. This isn't his job. I'll clean it up. I put my hand on the mop he's holding and tug it away from him. You're all dressed up, and this is what I'm here for. For a minute, he holds on to the mop. Then he allows me to take it from him. Okay, thanks, Millie. I appreciate your hard work. At least somebody does. As I get to work cleaning the kitchen, I think back to the photograph on the mantel of Andrew and Nina when they were first together, before they were married, before they had Cecilia. They looked so young and happy together. It's obvious Andrew is still crazy about Nina, but something has changed. I can sense it. Nina isn't the person she used to be, but it doesn't matter. It's none of my business. And that takes us right on up to chapter 8. Oh my goodness. I kind of see the dynamics here. I don't know if you guys do, but I see the dynamics of the marriage. It sounds like Andrew gives her her way a lie, Queen Bee. Her husband gives in to her quite a bit, it sounds like. And so it's going to be interesting to see what chapter 9 is going to be like. Or is that chapter 8? I think it was, yeah, chapter 8. It's curious to see what chapter 8 is going to be like. But you guys have a wonderful night. Sleep tight, sweet dreams. And I will see you tomorrow in the book club.